All this Polo Cup action is proudly brought to you by Volkswagen Motorsport, Dunlop Tyres, and Ferodo, #1 in brakes. Welcome to the East London Grand Prix circuit and round 4 of the Volkswagen Polo Cup Championship. It's the 25th anniversary, and so far we've got about 25 drivers all itching to get out on track. Before they get out for qualifying though, we caught up with the top 3 in the championship at the press conference to find out what their plans are for this weekend.
Leighton, you've come to East London as championship leader. First time at the track, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, everyone talks about East London being this very scary circuit, so tomorrow morning I'm definitely going to have to adjust to the track and obviously try to find the limits. But I mean, it's like going to any new track that I've been at, like Cape Town. We went to the circuit with no knowledge whatsoever going into the first round. So I'll take it like I did with Cape Town and hope for the best result.
You started the championship dominant in Cape Town. The last time you raced, you won. That's an important weekend for points, so what's your game plan?
Yeah, the game plan would obviously be to just try and win again. I think that's sort of everyone's objective sitting at this table and everybody else on the grid. But yeah, being East London, I wouldn't stress too much. It's not as hectic as everybody says. But keep your foot pinned and just let's all have a good race, keep the cars together. Obviously, I want to win. Last time I was here, Jeffrey snatched it from me on the last lap. I still remember that. And yeah, I think it'll be good. Coastal rounds are good to me, so fingers crossed this one is too.
Arnold, you and Leighton had a very close battle at Swartwell, side by side. Will this battle be relived the weekend?
I'm pretty positive about it. Well, at least I hope so, because that means I'll be in the front. Leighton always seems to be in the front nowadays. But yeah, I do think we'll have a good fight. I think the nice thing is we all fight quite fair. You know, it's a very nice rivalry, and I'm glad to be part of it.
There you have it. That is the plans for the weekend. Leighton Fourie leading the championship right on his tail, Yuri Swart, and Ari Nevling pushing him hard. But more importantly, so far today, we've seen about 11 cars all within the same second of each other. So as always in Polo Cup, it's going to be exceptionally tight, and qualifying is going to be vitally important. Let's go and find out now and see who's going to have it and get into the Super Pole. Qualifying is always an important affair, particularly when the wind is blowing like it is here today. So Slipstream City is definitely going to be on the cards here this weekend. You can see the times already starting to drop down and a bit of rain. Yeah, windscreen wipers are on. Looks like it's getting a bit wet out there, and I think qualifying might just have a completely different scenario to what we've had. Checkered flag is out. I wonder who's got to the Super Pole with that changeable condition. Charles Fiss is there. He's happy about that. I think it's his first time into Super Pole, which is fantastic for the youngster. And he'll be the first man out to go and set the pace for the Super Pole laps. He'll be followed very closely by all 6 cars, slightly different to what they normally do because of the length of the circuit. Gives an opportunity for all 6 cars to be out on track at the same time and hopefully not hinder each other in terms of their runs. Good run there, coming across the line from another man who made it up into the top 6 for the first time as well, Jaden Else. An awesome opportunity there to get into that top 6. Flag is out though, and it's Leighton Fourie who's put it onto pole. Boogie, all day long you've had a massive smile on your face. I know we can't see it right now with the mask over, but take us through an incredible day and getting into Super Pole for the first time.
Yeah, today went quite well in the practice sessions. I was a bit nervous for qualifying because in the past it didn't go that well. But today the rain got me a bit nervous, and then luckily my dad told me to go out again, the track's drying up. And then luckily I got a good lap in to put me into Super Pole. And in Super Pole, I made a little mistake on the last turn, but I'm super happy to be in the top 6. That's where I want to be.
You mentioned the fact that the coastal circuits have always been kind to you, and it looks like it's all gone according to plan here. But take us through the changeable conditions.
Yeah, it was as you say, changeable. I think the rest of the lap was fine, except for turn 1 was the only one which required a bit more a bit more kahunas in the qualifying. The changeable conditions, all in all, didn't play in my favor. I made a mistake, so I didn't get a good second lap. But at least I got to reward myself with a pole position. They don't come often, so you got to take them. I think at sea level, I'm used to the thicker oxygen, so it helps my brain think better. I think Joburg oxygen's not good for me.
As always, to keep the racing fair and square, some of the cars are touted by the COC and by a couple of the guys in the background to see whether or not they've got tricky fuel in there, and they take a fuel sample to make sure that everybody is on the same fuel and there's no messing around in terms of the ability of the cars. That might get a little bit of an edge if you're using a different kind of fuel. So we'll see after the break to see what happens now in race number 1. But can you believe the action so far here in Volkswagen Cup? Welcome back to the East London Grand Prix circuit now, and making their way out onto the grid any second now will be the Volkswagen Polo Cup for race 1. Yuri Swart on pole position, Leighton Free alongside him. A big battle in this championship and a big battle expected out on track. Let's go and see what happens in race number 1. Race 1 of 3, and they're making their way out onto the grid right now. Let's have a look at that starting grid. Yuri Swart, Leighton Free, front row, Keegan Campos and Arnie Neveling. Then it's Visser and Els, the Sadenote and Msimanga. Nati with a massive turnaround in his season, looking very good for top 10s all the way through and possibly even to the top 6. Fanamava and Martins, then Pasha and Bishop. It's Fenton, Hammond and McQuena, and Cara Hill right at the back of the field of 17 cars. There it is. That is the very important 2,500 Rand for pole position, and Yuri Swart will be taking that home. Probably going to be spending it on some e-racing stuff, I'm sure. But let's have a look and see how now we go into the race with Natim Samangas on board and heading towards turn 1, the infamous Potter's Pass. Who's going to have what it takes to go through Potter's absolutely flat on the first lap with some cold Dunlop tyres? Ooh, a little bit of rubbing is racing already. Nati having to move over. Great start here from Natim Samanga. He closes right onto the tailpiece there of Jaden Els as they go into Potter's 2x2. You're not supposed to be going around the outside this early on, guys. Those tyres are not warm yet, but tell Leighton Free and tell Arnie Neveling that. Wow, it's still 4x4. Campos on the inside, and look at that. Yuri Swart trying to hang on to the inside line. Has Leighton been able to squeeze him out? No, he hasn't. They are side by side down towards Cochabana. Absolutely amazing start to this one. Who's going to have what it takes here? As they get onto the braking point, it's Yuri Swart, but they're still side by side. That is 3 corners now that they've gone 2x2, side by side. Absolutely no inches given to any one of those first 4 drivers. The rest of the pack come flying through. We go on board here with Campos. Keeks looking for a way now. He's going to go with Yuri. Yuri's able to get through gate corner first. But Leighton Free is keeping them both honest, and you can see just how concentrating the eyes are on Campos. Look at that rearview mirror, how hard he's having to work through there. He has to eventually give it up, and yes, Yuri Swart gets a little tap from Leighton Free as they come into the complex for the first time, but he managed to hang on to it. Free now with some pressure from Campos. This is an amazing start to Polos, and if this was the first race, can you imagine what 2 and 3 are going to be like later on? They come out of the complex through the big sweeper and onto the back straight for the first time now, up towards Beacon Corner. Everybody eventually sorting themselves out and getting line astern as we normally see in Polos, but it took almost an entire lap for them to do that. 4 kilometers of racing, and they've eventually started to sort things out. And it's allowed Jaden Els and Natim Samanga, along with Charles Visser, to join that front pack of 4. Just behind that, Lonica Martins with a superb start as well, the young lady driver. One of 2 in this class, Cara Hill at the back there fighting with Hammond, but we are supporting Women's Month this time out, and you can see the pink windscreen decals on these cars as we go back on board here with Keegan Campos. He's lost about 2 car lengths here. Oh, and Arnie Neveling with a push to pass. Thanks for coming around the outside for the Inter Africa Mining and Studale Motorsport machine, going through there into 3rd place and demoting Campos down to 4th, but those first 4 are getting away. Look at Charles Visser putting a wheel onto the dirt. You don't want to be doing that. And as they go down into Rifle Range Corner, that's where things can go wrong if you do put a wheel on the dirt. Just ask Buxy Kamani. He had a massive moment yesterday, and the Squadra Course man just not able to get the car all sorted out, destroying the second of those Squadra Course machines and leaving it all to his teammate there to fight it out. And he's having a big fight there with Jaden Els and Charles Visser. We're on board here with Leighton Free. Leighton Free trying to go defensive, but here comes Campos. Campos coming through. Looks like Free might have made a small mistake there, and he's lost out some ground there. He tries to come back at him into gate corner. Yuri leads out for now. Oh, and it's locked up big time there from Campos. Can he keep it all together? Yes, he can. Very lucky to keep that all together as he came into the S's. And you can see the pressure now from Ari Neveling onto the back end there of Leighton Free. The battle continues. This is what we saw at the last round, and it was very evenly matched between these two. Look at that little bit of sideways action from Campos as he puts a wheel onto it, and he's out of shape. Oh, he managed to catch it, but that could give Leighton Free an opportunity to get through. Faree's going to try and capitalise on that small mistake from Campos as he came out of the sweeper. And now into Beacon corner. They're almost side by side. He tucks in. He'll try and use the slipstream. Maybe a push to pass if he's got one left. Arnie Neveling's right there as well. So is Jaden Else. A little bit of a gap down to Natim Samanga. Look in the background as well. Clinton Mercedes not having the day he wanted. He certainly needs to be a little bit higher up if he wants to stay in contention for this championship. And he's fighting it out, of course, with the teammates there. You've got right on his tail Lonica Martins and then Kwanda Makwena. Absolutely amazing stuff as they come down onto the breaking point now. And it's not really a breaking point here for Potters. It's a lift and straight back on it. Tate Bishop, first time in a Polo, into Potters in anger here in the big pack of Polos. And you see Dean Fenter's there with him, and so is Hammond. Hammond having a fantastic run there into the just outside the top 10. But he needs to be a little bit higher up there in the Trinity Security Services car as well. As they come down on the breaking point, Lonica Martins applying pressure. Tate Bishop doing the same thing, trying to close things down. Bishop makes a mistake. Bishop runs wide under braking, and he's just got that out of shape. If you carry on straight, Tate, you can get to the big beach, buddy. Just to the left-hand side there. But the angry car, and there's going to be an angry man inside the car, I can tell you, after a mistake like that. Oh, yes, a little bit of rubbing racing. We like that. This is what it's all about. It's Arnie Neveling going at it, trying to find a way through, because Jaden Else had found a way past him. Else had squeezed it out, and Leighton Faree's in there as well, and trying to find gears. Look at that. Absolutely amazing stuff. The missed gear there from Leighton Faree allowed Jaden Else through, but Arnie Neveling has not given up the battle yet for first and second. And speaking of first and second, there's a change up for the lead. Campos dives up the inside of Yuri Swart, hits the front for the first time. Here we go. It is on with 2 laps to go. Can you believe this? It is Campos out front, Yuri Swart in second. Has he got enough? Has he possibly got enough of those push to passes to keep Yuri out? Or has Yuri kept a couple in the bag in case this happened? They come streaming through an absolutely brilliant first race in Polo Cup. This is the 25th anniversary of this championship, and they're putting on one of the best shows all season long that we've seen. And it continues as they go through Potters, and you can see just how hard Yuri Swart is trying to get that Autohaus Alpine machine of his back into the front. As they get into Rifle, he's got to try and close down the gap. Has he got to push to pass left? That's what we have to look and see. They've got a lap and a half to go, and Campos is keeping him at bay. Arnie Neveling's not going to have an answer to the top 2 unless something goes wrong with the 2 of them. He'll be gifted a victory if that's the case. Oh, something has gone wrong. Campos locks up down into Kokabana, opens up the door, and Yuri takes it back again. So a small mistake again there from Campos as they went into Kokabana corner. He's still got to fight off Arnie Neveling now as well. This is what it looked like from Yuri Swart's point of view. You can just see, oh yeah, just going in there way too hot. And on the replay there, you can see Swart just had the door opened up wide for him. He took it with every opportunity. There you can see once again how Tate Bishop got it wrong, going down into Kokabana as well. 2 mistakes down in the same quarter. It's very easy to make that. You're coming down from a high speed, dropping down the gearbox, and of course it's an off-camber left-hander, a right-hander that you go into. So it's very difficult to get it all right. Yuri Swart coming to the line now, and the flag is waiting. Campos just going to be kicking himself with that small mistake. As he comes to the line, Swart's going to take the first one. Campos in second, and right on Campos's tail, Arnie Neveling. Championship leader Leighton Faree finishes up in 4th place, and side-by-side action there between Else and Msamanga, who take their best finishes of the season so far to beat out Clinton Mercedes. There is the official results. As you can see, Swart and Campos ahead of Neveling and Faree, Else, Msamanga, and Mercedes. It was Fenter in 8th place. A good drive there from Dean, one of his best finishes, and then Lonica Martins beating out Scholfisser. Let's catch up now with Keegan Campos and find out what happened at Kokabana.
Unfortunately, I'd have to say maybe the pressure from all the boys. The guys were really fast this weekend. Unfortunately, if anything, I braked a little early. But I just put a little bit more brake pressure towards the end of the corner, and unfortunately I ran wide. Lucky to recover. Still had a push to pass to use to stop Arnold from coming through. So overall I'm happy, disappointed because the win was definitely on the cards today for race 1. Let's see race 2 and 3, cards strong, so hopefully we do better than P2.
Going straight into race number 2 now. Let's see if that's going to be the case for Keegan Campos. He's got a bit of work to do. Arnie Neveling will be looking for a victory, so will Leighton Faree, and Yuri Swart will be kicking himself to try and get another one, because he's got to try and extend the lead in this championship and catch Leighton Faree, who starts in 3rd place as they head down towards Potter's Pass. It was side by side for 4 corners in the first start. This time, Leighton Faree seems to have just bogged the start ever so slightly. Look at that, Campos went flying past him, and he's trying to fend off the rest of this pack. And Jaden Else is going to make him work hard for it down into Potters. It is Yuri Swart who gets the whole shot. Neveling is 2nd, and Campos in 3rd. So positions resumed almost the same as what they were in race number 1. Natim Samanga now side by side, and you can see him pushing hard, trying to get around, and he puts a wheel on the dirt. Don't be doing that. We've already lost one of the Squadra course machines, and definitely don't want to lose the other one. As we see Leighton Faree's point of view here, on the left-hand side of him will be Natim Samanga, and he's going to be good enough on the brakes, so is Leighton going to keep him honest? He keeps him very honest. Look at how they close up. Concertina effect into Kokabana, closing onto the back end of Jaden Else here from Leighton Faree's point of view, but the 3 of them are also starting to close on the top 3. Late braking required there from Yuri Swart to keep out Campos, and that's exactly what he was doing. And with that defensive driving, Arnie Neveling is in there as well. You couldn't even see him. He was so tightly matched and so evenly matched in there as well. Campos sliding into gate corner and then into the S's, trying to find a way early on to get through on Arnie Neveling. Doesn't want to keep it to too late because remember, it took him a long time to get to the front, and once he eventually got there, he was leading things out with a lap to go and made a small mistake. He's not going to do the same thing here in race number 2. As they come up onto the back straight, look in the background. Oh, problems, I was going to say. Just in the background, I thought I saw Lonica Martins get it out of shape, and she did. And Quantum McQueen, I think, could possibly have been involved in that as well. The two of them coming together there, the teammates, and certainly not what they wanted. As they come under braking, here we go. Charles Visser diving on the inside of his teammate. It's Besaidnote he dives on the inside of. Here come the two brothers, the Hammond boys, fighting with McQuena, who's recovering. And there comes Corey Hill on the inside of them. Wow, it's just left, right, and centre. Cars adrift and everywhere on the track. If there's an opportunity to drive on some black stuff, they're going to find it. And that's exactly what they're doing as they come across the line. It is Lonica Martins who's got a lot of work to do now. We're on board with Tate Bishop as they head towards Potters. Let's have and see if he's able to keep it all together. Does he come off ever so slightly? Slight lift, yes. Oh, and that's why he was trying to fend off Besaidnote coming around his outside. That is fantastic onboard stuff going through Potters. You cannot believe how these cars are so good and so well handling as they go through that very tricky corner. Onto the brakes, here comes Dean Fenter. He's looking for a way to squeeze through too and get up on the inside of Natim Samanga, forces him Samanga wide, putting a wheel on the dirt again. And Fisser goes with him. Fisser and Fenter go alongside Natim Samanga to try and find a way through. On board now with Swart. Swart coming into gate corner, and he's got massive move there from Arnie Neveling on his inside. And there's a very, very tight maneuver through there to try and keep him out, but he can't. Neveling hits the front for the first time, so it's Arnie Neveling out in front. And look at how hard he's trying. He's absolutely sideways coming out of the complex. Brilliant stuff there from Arnie to hang on to that one. Yuri Swart's going to try and capitalize. He would have lost a little bit of ground coming out of that right-hander. And now as they head up towards the hill, Arnie goes almost instantaneously defensive. Puts the car into the middle of the track. Not going to give any chance here to any of the boys behind him to get past. That's great driving there from Arnie. Keeps out Yuri Swart, keeps out Campos. Comes along for the ride. Right on their tail is Jaden Else. Jaden Else looking for his best finish ever as well. If he can get up a little bit higher. One step higher will put him onto the podium for the very first time. He'll be ecstatic with that. Let's see if he's able to do that. Another lap completed. This is how tight it is. Absolutely brilliant. Leighton Free still sitting there in the 4th place. And it looks like he's got a little bit of work to do because Leighton Free, remember, is leading this championship. He cannot afford to lose too much ground. It's still very, very evenly matched in terms of the championship points. And as this is Tate Bishop's point of view, can he return the favour on Besaidnote? Oh, look at that. Besaidnote putting a wheel on the inside. Oh, that is not what you want to be doing in Potters. That can go completely wrong. Just ask your former teammate there. He'll tell you all about it. I can tell you there's not one bit of room given between any of these drivers in any of the corners, no matter how fast they are. And we've got 2 of the fastest corners in the world, never mind in the country, here at the East London Grand Prix circuit. Ferree is closed once again onto the back end of Jaden Else. Can he do anything about getting past him, though? It's one thing to close them down. It's another thing to try and find an open opportunity to get through. And it is very, very close here between these guys. A little bit of a loss there. And I think there might have been a push to pass from Jaden Else to get away as they come back into the complex. This time it's Yuri Swart who's out of shape. He's trying everything he knows in that Alpine Autohaus car to get through. But it's not been able to do it just yet. He's on the back end of Neveling. Neveling is defending for his life. He doesn't want to give this victory away. Remember, the top 3 in this championship are sitting 1, 2, and 4th place on track. And it's basically in reverse order there as well in terms of the championship lead. So it is Leighton Free in 4th who leads. It's Yuri Swart in 2nd, who is in 2nd. And he's now going to 1st. Can he get through? Oh, it's very good on the brakes. There's a touch. A very big touch. It's coming to the flag, and Arnie Neveling's going to try and hang on. Can he do it? The checkered flag is standing by. Look at that. Leighton Free diving through on Campos as Campos makes a big mistake as well. Campos making a huge mistake in the final corner. And as they come to the line, it is a great victory for Arnie Neveling. Yuri Swart in 2nd, and Jaden Else eventually squeezes up to 3rd. There's the touch. Campos saw it coming. He tried to avoid, hit the brakes a little bit too hard, locked it up, opened up the door, and both Jaden Else and, oh, that's not what he wanted. Jaden Else and Leighton Free diving through. Oh, the big tag there from Yuri. I think he was very lucky to get away with that one. I think if Arnie Neveling hadn't got across the line first, there may have been some problems. So it's Neveling from Swart, Else and Ferree. Campos eventually recovered to 5th place, beating out Besaidnote and Visser, and Samanga, Fenter, and Nathan Hammond in the top 10. Arnie Neveling, what an amazing dice out there, buddy. But take us through that last lap incident there. Absolutely everything you got to get on the brakes, and then Yuri up the inside trying to squeeze you out.
Yeah, sorry, to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure what happened. Obviously, we did touch. I still went across the line first. But yeah, what a crazy race. I mean, I really nearly lost the car about twice, I think, in the complex.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel a little bit stupid about that. The setup just caught me out a little bit, but in the long run, I suppose it paid off.
Let's give you a chance to catch your breath now after race number 2. Get those cars all cleaned up and ready to go for race 3 after the break. Welcome back to the East London Grand Prix circuit and race 3 coming up now for the Volkswagen Polo Cup. We've had 2 incredible races so far. Yuri Swart has taken one, Arnie Neveling has taken one. They are 2nd and 3rd in the championship overall. The championship leader needs a victory. Can he try and squeeze one out of this 3rd and final heat? Former champion Keegan Masters giving Natim Samanga some final look at the data and a little bit of advice on what to do to possibly get his favourite finish, and that'll be onto a podium. He hasn't got one yet, but he definitely is looking like he's right up there and up for one in the very near future. That's also a nice little bit of advice there given by Etienne van der Linde to Leighton Free as he gets ready to go and possibly steal the final victory. But Campos is arguably the most hungry man out on track, and he gets a phenomenal start alongside Leighton Free as they head down towards Potters. It's going to be side by side here between the Campos transport car and Team Red Racing's Leighton Free. In fact, it looks like Campos might have got a slightly better start, so he's going to be the man to beat down into Potters, but it's not going to be given up that easily because Leighton Free is going to hang on to that inside line and make him drive the highway and the long way around Potters Pass, which is not an easy thing to do. Ask Tate Bishop. He's doing the same thing. He tucks in there behind one of the Stradale machines as he goes through there. I think it was Foreign Basha he's tucked in behind as they come flying down towards rifle range. In the background, trying to sort things out as well. A couple of guys that are just in the mix there. Still side by side for a couple of cars in the back as well. This is not going to be good as they come down under braking. Who's going to have what it takes for Cochabana? We've already seen a mistake out of Keegan this time. He's a little bit easier on the brakes, not as hard, and he slots up into 2nd place. Right on his tail is Arnie Neveling. So Campos in amongst the championship contenders trying to get himself into championship contention. And there's still a few corners and a few races to go here in this championship. More importantly, the corners that are on this track now to decide what's going to happen in this 3rd and final heat. But he wants to be in the hunt at the front end of this championship, and you can see just how hard, and as I said, how hungry he is. Sideways from Campos, sideways coming out of Besaid Note, and completely sideways from Dean Venter. The 27 car from Wright Motorsport just got a little tap from behind, and it put him absolutely sideways. You can see he's not happy, gesticulating there going, come on, what was that all about? Now, right at the back, there's a lot of guys that know how that all feels. As he comes in there, he's helped out, I think, by, is that Kwanda Mokoena? Yes, it is. Kwanda with a little tap on the back, and Mokoena just sent him sideways there and putting him onto the dirt. He comes back on track and resumes his position, but they're going to have a lot of work to do now from the back of this very, very attacking field of drivers today. Back on board with Tate Bishop again, one of our favourite men to run through, as you can see, coming into Potters. And let's have a listen if he lifts into Potters or not. It's a little lift. It allowed Van der Merwe through from Team Red Racing. But it's actually a confidence lift. It's not really that you're worried about not going through their flat. You could possibly go through their flat. These Dunlops are very good. They give you a lot of traction. But it's just a confidence thing, just to make sure that the car doesn't get completely out of shape. Because if it does, it can go horribly wrong there. We've seen it on a numerous occasion. And I mentioned it earlier on. Jana van der Westhuizen will tell you all about it. But as we come down back onto the beach straight, on board with Msamanga now. Msamanga trying to close down on Else. So it's the King Price car versus Squadra Course, and on the inside comes Yuri. Now remember, Yuri Swart had to start a bit further back than what he'd like to. He didn't quite get the qualifying right in the first one. He got pole position, remember, and super pole, but his 2nd fastest lap dictated where he'd be here for race number 3, and unfortunately was down in about 8th place that he started on the grid. So he's got a lot of work to do to get through a very, very seasoned and young pack of drivers in front of him, and he's fighting now with Jaden Else as he tries to get through there to close down on the leaders. Out front, remember, it is all about Leighton Free and Campos. And problems here, Kwanda Mokoena. Oh, Mokoena trying to do some on-track repairs there. I don't know if that fender's going to come off there too much, Mokoena. And you can see him just trying to get up, but we are under safety car scenario now, which means everybody's going to be bunched up, and the concertina effect now for the last couple of laps to sort this out. We go on board with Yuri, and this is the restart. Now remember, you cannot pass the man in front of you until you've crossed the line, and he's going to be very close to doing that. It's actually close. Look at that. He just managed to stay behind, and Jaden Else is unfortunately going to lose out to that one. He's timed it to perfection. Absolutely brilliant stuff there from Yuri Swart, and he'll be squeezing out Jaden Else, and he gets past him down towards Potters Pass. It's Leighton Free ahead of Campos. Campos ahead of Arnie Neveling. Arnie Neveling also looks like he might have just had a little bit of a close call there, but we'll wait and see if that's going to be the case as they head down towards Rifle now. This is Msamanga's point of view. And Msamanga with a fantastic start now with Charles Visser in his sights. Can he get past him? There's only a couple of corners left. There's no time to mess around now. After that long safety car period, we're into a sprint finish, and there's nothing in it between these drivers. You can see just how hard they're pushing, and the concertina effect has brought all of the drivers back into full effect and the possibilities of change-ups. Fenter looking to capitalize. He goes side by side with Cora Hill as they get onto the beach straight towards Gate Corner. I think he might be able to just get through there on the second lady driver on track. Leighton Free's going to hang on to it, though. He is not going to give this one up. He needs this victory to stay at the front of this championship. Headed to Red Star. Oni Nevling right on his tail. And you can see how hard he's defending to keep out Besaidnote. Besaidnote is right there too. And then you got Campos. Campos from SWAT. Who's going to have the overtaking opportunity to change things up as they head towards Beacon? It's the last opportunity to overtake. Will we look for some different lines? Will we look for some different apexes to try and get the drag onto the main straight as well? Defending big time there from Besaidnote, trying to keep out Campos's attack. Can he do it? He does. But on his inside comes Yuri Swart. Now we've got two cars side by side out of Beacon. It's Campos and Swart. Swart got the inside. Oh, a tag. A little touch there between Campos and Swart. Now that might have slowed them up ever so slightly. Going to give Besaidnote the chance to get through. Yes, he does. So it's Leighton Free from Arnie Neveling. Besaidnote hangs on just to keep out the big attack right in the end there from Campos. And Jaden Els finishes up ahead of Yuri Swart. It's Fissa and Msimanga making up the top 8. And the rest of the pack coming through there within the space of 2 seconds. That's how close it was. And there's the official results. Free from Neveling, Besaidnote and Campos. It's Jaden Els ahead of Yuri Swart. Charles Fissa, Natia Msimanga. And a great drive from Faran Bush to get his first top 10 for the day ahead of Hammond. Leighton, it's been a tough day, buddy. You've been up and down the top 3 all day long, eventually securing the final win.
Yeah, we had a gearbox problem throughout the first and second race, and you kind of needed that win in the third race to kind of revive the championship there. So yeah, we lead by 2 points now. Ari got me 1 point on a gain. So we're going to Red Star with a lot of confidence and to maybe extend that championship lead this time. So yeah, but I can't thank the team more. The gearbox was giving us so much issues and they fixed it after each session. So my big thanks to them.
Headed to Red Star Raceway. This is how things look in the championship. 173 plays 162, plays 157. Faris, Swart, Neveling, your top 3 in this championship. Besaidnote still in with a chance, and you can see a little bit of resurgence coming from Campos. The top 5 still up for grabs. What a way to finish up an amazing championship round of the 25th anniversary here of Polo Cup. And of course, down at the East London Grand Prix Circuit, Polo Cup always puts on a phenomenal show. With 3 races today, and all 3 of the championship leaders taking a win apiece, it means that it's wide open headed into Red Star Raceway. I can't wait to get there to find out what's going to happen at the next round of Volkswagen Polo Cup. All this Polo Cup action was proudly brought to you by Ferodo, #1 in brakes, Dunlop Tyres, and Volkswagen Motorsports.